With the Pacers now down 3-2, what are the similarities between them and the Nuggets from round 2 versus the Thunder? Let's dive in and find out. You're watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. Let's get it. How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler here for another take of Nuggets basketball. So we have the finals going on, right? It's been a while since I've been on, a couple days, almost a week. Just been really trying to, take in what's going on with the finals and also the Stanley Cup. Happy to see that the Panthers are ahead of the Oilers. Do not want the Oilers to win at all, especially when they have McDavid, and everyone says that McDavid is the best hockey player in the world. He's not. It's McKinnon and Makar, but because they're not in the finals, everyone says that McDavid is. But regardless of that, it is two good teams right now. When you look at the last couple of Stanley Cup matchups and everything, one of those teams has been in, or if not both of them have been in the last couple of them. So there is something to say about those two teams. But I am rooting for the Panthers, especially when they have Rodriguez, who used to be an Av. So go Avs. But focusing on NBA here, before the last podcast I had, episode was before Game 3. And I was saying that we really needed Tyrese Haliburton to show up. And I believe he did that in Game 3. He did not do that in Game 4 and 5. If he had done it in Game 4, we would be completely talking about a different scenario right now. But now we are talking about the Pacers are now down 3-2, losing 2 back-to-back games. This sounds really familiar. Where have I seen this before? Oh, that's right. Round 2 with the Nuggets versus OKC. Now we're back at it again. You would think that the Pacers, having hopefully watched that series play out, I mean, they were in their own kind of issues with the Cavaliers at that time, and they dominated the Cavaliers, one of the top teams in the NBA, if not the top team in the NBA, and for some reason they aren't able to do the same with OKC. And it's not to say that OKC is this dominant force either. Like, there have been several moments where the Pacers could have won. They could have won this in 4 games. To be honest, they could have won this in 4 games. The OKC has not been that dominant to look like they were going to take over at any point in this series, in this matchup. The only time has been sometimes in the first quarter or the first half. They've looked a little more, aggressive, but then it has fallen apart, and the Pacers have been able to come back. And that's one thing you have to give the Pacers for. Any Knicks fans watching my show, I love you guys. I love the Knicks. I wish the Knicks were in it right now, and it sucks that they're not, but you have to give the Pacers credit. And I know you're going to say the same thing to me, that I got to give the OKC credit, but they're just completely different teams. Pacers play a more likable brand of basketball. OKC plays by the refs, and I freaking hate it. And when you see Dort pushing over Tyrese Haliburton aggressively and not getting a call for it, like, that's the kind of stuff that just everyone else is just sick of. To be honest, they do not deserve a championship. They're most likely now going to win it. Most people are saying that they're going to win it. The one thing, though, you have to give the Pacers credit for is, even when they are down and out and people think that they're going to lose, they come back and they win. Case in point was that Game 1. They came back, they stole a game. Same thing happened, though, in the Denver and OKC matchup. So let's put right now the similarities. How do the Pacers compare to the Nuggets facing OKC? So they both stole Game 1. A blowout loss, then suffered a blowout loss then in Game 2. Then a game 3 win, confident win. And then game 4 looked like they were going to win it. And then the Thunder came in and stole it in the fourth quarter. And then came back and won game 5. So 2 back-to-back losses. Followed by Scott Foster aiding the OKC in winning certain games. I mean, you can't say that his calls did not affect game 4. It completely affected game 4. And Rick Carlisle is a very admirable coach, and I applaud him for trying to stick up for Scott Foster. But the fact that he is sticking up for a ref right now, dude, don't even touch the topic then. If you don't want to talk about it, I'd rather him not talk about the topic than try to protect the guy who is actively doing calls against his team. People call Scott Foster the extender because he extends series, but he needs to seriously be investigated. Like the bullshit calls he was making in the OKC Nuggets round 2 series was just asinine. And then you have this series where he is making the same horrible calls. And then on the other end, letting the OKC do whatever they want to the Pacers. Just ridiculous, And then you also have Tyrese Haliburton, much like Aaron Gordon, suffering a leg injury. I mean, Aaron Gordon had been suffering a calf injury all season, and then he suffered that hamstring issue. This time around, Tyrese suffered a calf injury and looked helpless to do anything last night. You could also say that was also most likely why he wasn't able to do a lot on game 4. And so when you have something like that and he is pretty much useless, is it better to play him just for his honor or whatever, Like, at some point you have to kind of draw back just to help your team win, because it's better for you not to be in the mix-up than to be on the court and be a detriment to your team, So I hope that he gets some some relaxing or some attention on his calf for game 6. Hopefully he comes back and wins. I would like to see them win without him and him take a little extra rest and attack in game 7. But this is the finals, and if they take any chances that cause them to lose in game 6, you just have to play all your cards now. They have now put themselves in a situation where they have to play all of their cards immediately to be able and go big every single game from here on out, because now the next game, if they lose the next game, they are out, and the OKC will be crowned champions, and we cannot have that, despite everything pulling in their favor right now. So there is that, and then the big difference, though, that I will point out for the Pacers over the Nuggets is the bench depth and not giving up in the fourth quarter. Yeah, there was the game 4 fourth quarter woes that they had a little bit, but they looked different than the Nuggets fourth quarter woes. Like Nesmith, he got in some foul trouble, but despite that, like, he was actually doing fairly well. They're able to make the shots they need. And even Nembhard plays some decent, good defense. You didn't really get that with a lot of the bench players. I mean, Julian Strawther is a walking foul trouble, waiting to be baited. And P-Watt can't stand comfortably on his legs. Like, he looks like Bambi on ice when he's running in transition. They both need to bulk up, and by bulk up, I mean gain muscle, not fat, but gain muscle, gain weighted muscle, so that they can stand their ground more. And then you also have, you need to be more on Jalen Pickett and Zeke Naji, but they just haven't been there. They've stepped up in a couple of games in regular season, but then went quiet. I would like to see them be as aggressive and attack and be actually a part of what the other team is trying to plan against. And right now, any team that goes against the Nuggets, once those guys get on, they're like, okay, yeah, just foul them, get them to the foul line. They're not going to be able to make their points, or get them in a tight situation. They're not going to be able to throw up the ball or whatever. Like, that's pretty much right now the bench for the Nuggets. The Nuggets don't have that depth that the Pacers actually do have. And that's why the Pacers have been able to come back in 20-point deficits multiple times now and win the game in the fourth quarter. That you just don't have that with the Nuggets right now. Like, they weren't the ones that were shifting the tone in later in the game. They were the ones that had the tone shifted on them later in the game. So there is some slight differences that are in favor of the Pacers than the Nuggets. The one difference that is in favor of the Nuggets over the Pacers is that the Nuggets have Nikola Jokic. That's the obvious one, right? Like, that's just the obvious difference between the Nuggets and any other team. But as much as it pains me to say, J-Dub actually looked good in Game 4 and 5. He has been the savior of the Thunder because SGA really has looked winded and worn down, while J-Dub has been attacking on both ends of the court, reading the plays and getting the steals as well, and converting those steals into points. Like, you don't really see a lot of that happening. It's that mentality that unfortunately the Nuggets didn't have with Jamal this year. He had one game, the Flu Arrow game, Game 6, but then that was it. J-Dub has been more consistent, so I tip my hat to him for that, but that's all he's getting, because I still hate him, and I want to see him suffer and lose horribly, but I gotta admit, he has been looking really good these last couple of games. I mean, he looked terrible against the Nuggets. He looked awful. Like, he wasn't even ready to be an all-star. Like, I was kind of wondering, like, this man is the one that you named an all-star, but now in the finals he has stepped up and he has definitely looked more like the second choice for the Thunder. So, annoying as that is, and damn Alex Caruso still being a pest. I can't stand him or Dort, but whatever. What the Pacers need in order to win Game 6, if they are possibly without Haliburton, right? They need Siakam to score big. They need Nesmith and Obi Toppin and Nembhard to also show up. Like, those big four have to show up next game. If they don't, then it's done. And the Thunder will be raising the Larry O'Brien Trophy in Indiana. And we will get a horrible champion that a lot of us didn't want. So those four, everything relies on you four. And I'm not putting CJ McConnell in that because we all know he will show up. He was the main reason the Pacers even had a chance last night. And if they were able to get the deficit down to 2 with just 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter without Haliburton, then they can definitely do it again, and this time win with Game 6. It's all a matter of drive and mental toughness. I still believe they can win Game 6. Game 7, though, will be a dogfight. We all know that's going to be a dogfight because then both teams are just, that's the last game. They will both be aggressively attacking, trying to get that championship. And I do hope this goes to Game 6 now. I was really hoping that the Pacers would close this out in 5, and then close it up in 6, but now we have to go to Game 7. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts now. So that's one thing we know for sure, is that it will be a dogfight, and I hope the Pacers rewrite the script and actually win Game 7, and don't be complete repeat of what the Nuggets did, which is really interesting. Just again, the Nuggets did the exact same thing And the Pacers looked at that and were like, let's repeat doing that. It's gotten them some wins, but it also has gotten them in the exact same spots the Nuggets were. And the Nuggets eventually lost. Unfortunately, that was a lot due to the fact that Aaron Gordon was not effective much at all. I mean, he was and he wasn't. He wasn't effective offensively, but he was effectively rebounding, even with that grade 2 hamstring. But it's just also crazy that you have all these other teams suffering injuries in these last playoff games against OKC, and OKC looks like they're taking big hits, and yet they're popping up like daisies and not even caring that they just fell on their hip or whatever. I mean, I've seen Chet Holmgren grinning or gritting with his teeth or whatever, looking like he's almost down, and then he pops back up. Like, it's just frustrating to see your guys getting hurt and their guys not really flinching much, or it's all for show. I really hope that the Pacers win. Sucks that they're hurting so much like this right now, but I'm pulling for you, Pacers. Pacer fans, I'm pulling for you. Let's go, Pacers. So then the other thing I was going to talk about here was the big trade with KCP Cole Anthony of the Orlando Magic getting traded to the Memphis Grizzlies, along with 4, you heard it right, 4 unprotected picks for just Desmond Bane. That's it. Desmond Bane. A lot of people have been talking about this. You've been seeing it all over social media. The reactions have been strong, and it hasn't been anything about Cole Anthony and KCP. It's been all about the 4 unprotected picks, which I agree. That is insane. When you look at the trade with Luka Doncic to Lakers, the Mavs got pretty much nothing. They got pretty much a 1-for-1 trade with Anthony Davis and Luka. That is just really crazy. Not to say anything bad about Desmond Bane, because he is a decent player, but that's the thing. He's a decent player. He's not a phenomenal player. When you look at Luka, he is a phenomenal player. And again, he's also getting really fit. So now you just gave basically an advance for the Lakers with Luka. Now he's in a better position than he was with the Mavs. So it helps the Magic, I think, put them in a better spot shooting wise, because unfortunately KCP did not look as well in his one season there. But there was something that I heard that the reason KCP didn't look like KCP is because he wasn't on a team with Nikola Jokic or LeBron James, the 2 players that he played with and won chips with. And I would agree to that. And I agree with a lot of people that Nikola Jokic makes you better, but there have been players. I mean, if Nikola Jokic makes you better, then why does the Nuggets bench suck? They get practice time with Nikola Jokic. They get coached by Nikola Jokic. Why are they sucking then? Why do we have such horrible bench issues? Why, if Nikola Jokic makes everyone better, do we get these bricking games with MPJ? Who, speaking of, MPJ and Desmond Bane are near exactly the same kind of player. So you have this big trade with Desmond Bane getting 4 unprotected picks for him. His stats are from this past season. He averaged 19.2 points, 6.1 rebounds, 5.3 assists in 69 games. He shot 48.4% from field, 39.2% from three-point range, 89.4% from free throw lane, and then from the free throw line. And then he is also making $34,005,250. Michael Porter Jr. averaged 18.2 points per game or over the season, 7 rebounds, 2.1 assists in 77 games, and then he averaged 50.4% from field, 39.5% from three-point range, and then 76.8% from the free throw line. And he makes $35,859,950. So, I mean, you have like $1,854,000 difference in pay, but at the same time, like their stats are near identical. So it does kind of make you wonder, what could the Nuggets get if the Grizzlies were able to get 4 unprotected picks for Bane? Then what could the Nuggets get for MPJ? But most importantly, would it help the Nuggets get better? Because would anyone say the Grizzlies got better from this trade? I mean, they definitely added some more defense with Cole Anthony and KCP, but they lost a lot of the offensive part of things. So, it looks more like they're gearing themselves up for future success. And that, I just don't think that the Nuggets have a future right now. Their time is now. They can't wait anymore because Jokic isn't getting any younger. And with that, we also lead into the news that the Nuggets have decided not to renew assistant GM Tommy Blaistis contract. Always had issues saying his last name, but essentially the assistant GM, they're no longer going with him. And now the Nuggets are officially without a GM and an assistant GM, with pretty much a week left until the draft is. And yet we have no one at the wheel, no one at the helm. Like, what the hell? The Nuggets have placed themselves in a terrible position. I mean, one can say that they're waiting for the finals to be over, and some are speculating that maybe that they're waiting for the finals to be over so that they can announce maybe Bob Myers being the GM, because right now he is commenting on the finals. He's a commentator there, so they need to wait for him to be done with that to be then like, oh, now he's going to be the Nuggets' new head GM. But the other thing, too, is that the fact that they are waiting so long, maybe Ben Tenser isn't the choice. Maybe, they're actually waiting for someone else. But it also, to me, kind of feels like they're sleeping on their homework. And they're just kind of having Ben Tenser there as the comfortable backup. Which, if I'm Ben Tenser, it doesn't, I'm happy to have a job, but at the same time, like, I'm their second choice right now. Like, they just can't make a defiant choice. Like, you either want me and you don't. And if you don't, I'm going to go and find a better job somewhere else. And I'm sure that Ben has that confidence in him. I don't right now. I would definitely be just like, okay, just as long as I have a job, I would like to have that confidence, and I'm building up for that confidence. But still, like, that does kind of, with these kind of big exec types, like, if you do that, like, okay, well, you're either choosing me now or I'm walking. I mean, that kind of happened with Tim Connolly, right? The Cronkies waited too long, lost Tim Connolly, and that's how he got Calvin Booth, who, as we all know, sabotaged our team and left us into this place where we could have been a dynasty. We could have been. And now we're hoping to just have a decent year again that gives us some kind of remnants of the 2023 chip year. But lots to think about. Let me know what your thoughts are as far as what the Nuggets are doing with their GM and AGM. I know a lot of talk is about right now wants to be about the trading part of things. But let's talk about the GM and the AGM part. I want to hear from you guys in the comments about that specifically. And then maybe we can also talk a little bit about what you think, who would be able to come in and actually help the Nuggets if we were to trade MPJ. because I would want them to get someone that can actually help them get better. And I've already said this before, and I'll say it again, that KD is not the option. KD will make things worse. He does not play in the system that Jokic plays in. He plays in a completely different system. He plays in the me style of basketball. That's why he's been chasing a chip ever since he won the ones with the Warriors. And that's the only ones he's ever been able to play with. But he wanted to go out there for himself because he didn't want to be the second man to Steph Curry. And I don't think that he would be okay with being the second man to Jokic. So it can't be at KD. We have to pick someone else. If we are in this hypothetical realm of who do we get for MPJ, okay, let's get into this conversation then and tell me who you think is actually going to help the Nuggets be better next season, not in the future, not, with time. It has to be right now. And who can actually work well with Jokic and the rest of the team. Because I don't want them fighting and bickering throughout the season, because that will happen if there's no chemistry there. So that's why I think that MPJ will stay, because also if you get rid of him for someone else who is not a three-point shooter, then you lose your depth there. Like, you need that spot-up shooter, and that is right now is MPJ. So who is the spot-up shooter that can take over his position? I don't know, but let me know, as well as the GM. That's pretty much all I got for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe, share it out to your friends and family. And you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. We'll catch you later.